Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to cover something such as turning inquiries into confidence. Okay? Trying to master your client's conversation, right? I mean, you as a financial advisor, right? Probably you're always faced with moment of truth that a client's unexpected question or concern about the market news actually tests our expertise or even your own expertise. Do you feel stuck at times? It's like, hey, how should I be replying them, and what are they really asking? Because there are times where even for myself, a client just sent me a particular article, and they expect me to really understand what they are talking about or what they are thinking. And the article could be one pager, two pager, or three pager, right? So how can we actually respond and then build trust and breed instead of breeding doubts in them, or even create more concern for them? So today we're going to dive into a approach, right, that I have used, not just to really answer their questions or answer their doubts, but also deepen the clients and advisor relationship and build more trust over time, right? Do you want to know that? If you want to know that, that would be good. Then also like, share, and subscribe to the channel for ongoing training videos such as this, right? So let me go straight into the first group of people who will do such things is people who are very anxious novice. So they are very new to investing. They are overwhelmed by market jargons and news. And they always bring like a list of questions and then they keep firing to you. And I think many of times, right, it's not just for us, right, to just purely provide answers, right? I think we need to help this particular client to be able to filter noise or to guide them to really identify like, hey, what should we be focusing on for them in regards to their financial goals, right? Because many of times, later I will share a framework that you can really go by a step-by-step approach, right? To ask them all these questions, and they will really go through this self-discovery or self-learned, instead of just giving them the straight-off answer like, oh no, this is not important, right? Which I don't think any of you is doing that, which is good. If you are doing that, you're probably going to lose the client very quickly, so don't do that, okay? Then another one is people who are very doubtful about the kind of work that you do. Okay? They probably invested their money before, went through a few crises. The outcome of it wasn't very good. So they're always doubtful when they approach an FA, getting them to invest their money. And when a new crisis come along, let's say a recent market event, um, they feel that it doesn't really align with their past experience, right? It means they cannot relate, like, hey, how do I get myself out of this situation, right? So our approach again, firstly, is to really seek the reassurance, right? And to really embrace that questioning from them, right? It's not so much of challenging. I think it's okay that they ask you, right? Because they have went through bad experiences, and it's always for us, right, to re-establish the trust again, right? By addressing their questions and their concern with depth and strategic insight, right? It's very important. Instead of just saying things like my earlier video I said, right, just hold for the long term, and let's go continue to do DCA. I think that should not be the approach. Then another type is really curiosity, right? They are very curious about the market because they just probably observing the market, and they are trying to connect the dots also, right? This kind of clients are actually good for you because why? They will probably watch the market more than you, right? Because important, not important, relevant, not relevant, they also want to have a discussion with you, and they really respond to market fluctuation. And many of times the fluctuation is within like a very realistic kind of fluctuation, not crazy kind of fluctuation, and help them, right? Help them to show that, hey, these are investing principles that you abide on, so that you can show them that, hey, my job as an advisor to you, right, is to really eliminate the emotions, and to bring calmness and compose and clarity to you. And of course, the insight is very important. to tell them that, hey, during all this turbulent times, right, what are the assets that we are focusing on? And it's likely to perform over time also, historical patterns or historical behavior of market participants, right? Then of course the last group, right? The last group is also pretty important. They are very skeptical in nature. So one is doubtful, this one is skeptical. So doubtful is different. Right? Skeptical is like, hey, like they don't really trust you, right? They always hear conflicting advice from various sources, from various people. And because of this, right, the level of skepticism is high. And of course, their hope is also not there. That's where our relationship with the client and the advisor is very important, right? We have to really understand like the root cause of their skepticism, right? Like where is it coming from? Where are they reading the source from? And really guide them to make informed decision, right? I think so. These are the 4 stories that I want to share with you. And okay, that's why, right, over the years, right, of experiencing and coaching hundreds of FAs, right, I developed this framework, right, these 5-step questions to really guide your response or guide their response to them. So these are the keywords, right? Number 1, horizon. Number 2, affluence or influence. Number 3, impact. Number 4, temporal, and then number 5, magnitude. So let me dive deep into each of them, right? So then you can sort of really understand, right? So horizon is like, okay, so this particular news event, right? How likelihood is going to affect us? Is it a short term, long term, medium term, right? Because it's horizon, right? It's like how in terms of time horizon, right? Ask them that question because sometimes it could be just a very minute thing. Let's say, right, like employment data, right? Employment data is a lagging indicator, firstly. And then secondly, right, it's a monthly indicator. It's important, but comparing to maybe other indicators out there, economic indicators that are more important, that's where we have to show them which one is important for them. Then that's where they will reduce the risk. There are employment data that are published like every week. It's basically US employment claims. It's published every week. And if your client look at their data, right, they will be very confused, right, with all the economic data that are available. Okay, that's why in my own coaching or clients, right, I always tell them that there are about 18 indicators, but of the 18, potentially about 3 to 5 that is very important. And the rest of them are just noise, right? The rest of them are just noise. Then secondly is how we influence the market participant, right? Is it high, low, or median, or like moderate in a sense? So what it means is that based on the economic data, is it going to be a low level of influence, medium, or then high also? Or who will it influence also at the same time, right? Because influence and impact might feel the same, but the impact is where is it more like in terms of priority, right? Like for example, I was saying, right, economic data potentially comparing to, let's say, central bank actions. The central bank actions are high impact news, right? Then economic data probably lower impact news. When I say low, doesn't mean it's not important, okay? There's still levels of importance. That's why influence is still there, right? Temporal. So temporal is also like very similar to horizon. Like you think that it's short term and all this, right? No. Temporal is more like, okay, will this be just seasonal changes? Like for example, employment data is always affected by seasons in itself. Like for example, in Singapore, we don't really experience it, but in the, let's say, US, right? Before December, which is Christmas time, right? There will be a lot of hiring. But again, the hiring in terms of people who get hired is more part-time work. So after winter, right, or after Christmas, right, there will come winter. Then all these particular jobs, right, will naturally fade off, or all these people will naturally lose their job. I won't say lose their job because the contract probably is very short term, right? And because it's winter, not many people want to go out. to do economic activity like shopping and etc. or expense, right? And sometimes the weather is so bad that people can't even step out from their house. You know, extreme weather condition, especially the coastal lines, that the wind is so strong that people cannot really go out. And the snow is so thick that it covers basically the road, etc. etc. So we need to understand, is it caused by such an event? Like for example, if it's caused by winter, we know that in the next few months, it will be over, right? It's not a long-term thing. Like for example, maybe a, a permanent kind of impact would be, let's say, like for example, Russia, right? Russia was at one point of time supplying a lot of oil and commodity to Germany, probably about 40 to 50% of Germany's consumption. But because of war, they totally remove it. Then that would have a likely a more permanent impact to Germany's economy in that sense. Then that might be for us as investors to evaluate like, hey, should we be investing more into Germany? But saying this, not to say that we cannot invest into Germany. Why? Because there will be companies that want to look for supply to supply into Germany, right? Then those companies are the companies that we will want to invest, right? Because for that short-term measure or that short-term shortage of oil or commodity in Germany, this company will really make the profits because there is the lack of the supply, right? When there's lack of supply, supply itself, right? The price that consumer pay or the government pay from getting that particular supply from corporation will be very high, will be at a premium also. Then the last one, magnitude, right? So magnitude is like how many people will be affected. Like for the Germany case, right, with Russia, right? Of course, Russia's not just supply a lot to Germany, they also supply a lot to Europe. So the removal of that oil supply, we want to know like how widely it will affect, right, the Europe economy in that sense. So using this 5 letters or 5 questioning themes, right, you can probably guide your clients, right? But of course, don't just copy and paste and send them, but it's in this 5 formats, right? Do not at times it may not be all 5. It may be like you send one and then ask that, hey, how do you think that this is temporal? Do you think that the impact is high or low? How will it influence us? Short term, long term, medium term, etc., etc. Then once you ask the question, right, your client will eventually over time, right, figure it out themselves, right, and they will basically thank you, right, for guiding them to address the noise that is in the economy or in the stock market itself. So it means as an FA, other than providing all the answers, helping your clients to find the answer is also very important because this could be the added value that you give them. Okay? Then, of course, for those who watch until this video, continue to like and share and subscribe to this video. Of course, I think many of times we need to know that every questions from client could be a potential for us, an opportunity for us to really build trust and also growth for the client, not just in terms of skill set, but potentially an opportunity for them. And I think this is what I'm good at, and this is what I have coached many to do. Every time a question from the client is a potential more money to be made for you. And that's why in the coaching itself, right, I will actually share the secret of doing that, trying to unlock your more FYC from all this conversation. That's where I earlier on said, right, turning all the inquiries or the questions, right, for you to have confidence with them in terms of not just finding an answer for them, through the answer, potentially they will want to increase their investment portfolio with you. So this is what I do best, and I hope that you will follow me in this channel, in this journey. I will want to share more and more of these insights to you, and do reach out to me. What are the things that you want to learn from me, and I would love to create those training videos for you. So see you in the next video. Bye-bye.